What does doom scrolling mean, Mary?
It means when you get sucked into your phone and the headlines are not great and you just like keep going because you can't get
Because
enough.
UFOs were supposed to take over on April 24th, I've heard.
What?
UFOs were supposed to take over the world on April 24th.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then I think there was a big, there's supposed to be a tidal wave here in San Diego on the 21st of April.
Surf it.
Killed us all.
Yeah.
But
it's just like you get stuck in. I mean, I don't know why sometimes it's called doom scrolling, but also sometimes it's happy scrolling or laughter scrolling. If you're just, it's basically just like you keep going because you're just sucked into the vortex of whatever's happening.
Well, guess who's here?
Our favorite.
Our favorite. Cory Perlman.
Yes.
Perlman is a social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media. Is there a big change coming into these reels that we're looking at there, Cory?
It's great to be back with you guys. I would say they've actually gone a little bit longer, so we're up to 3 minutes now. So you can get a little bit more meat inside your reels than you were before. Under 60 seconds is hard to do, so now it's up to 3 minutes. So you get a little bit longer.
Can I say it should be a felony? A couple things should be a felony. I think if you don't know your right-of-way rules on the road, it should be a felony.
I agree.
I think anytime a major an NFL team leaves San Diego, it should be a felony.
More like death penalty.
And I think when it says, when they get to the story where they're about to give you the punchline, and then there's not another punchline where you're like, and then he almost killed his watch and follow, and it never happens. It's like, you know what? I think that should be illegal.
You mean like when reels are cut up into parts?
But they don't do them all.
They do. You just have to go to their feed.
No, sometimes they don't exist, do they, Cory? That's not. Listen, I think there needs to be a rule that says if there's not a part 2, don't say look at part 2.
I think
I spend more time looking for part 2 than actually watching part 2.
That is a problem.
I think we literally are on the same feed because what happened to you happened to me yesterday. I was watching a random, it was like a prison video of this guy who's in prison for 30 years of his life, and he was a teenager at the time, and we were supposed to see him as an adult. That was part 2.
You'll never believe what he looks like now. Bam, no part 2 ever.
No part 2.
I have a question, Cory, about the 3-minute reels. So I have noticed, whether it's personal or business-related reels, to keep the viewer watching past, you kind of look at your stats and see how long people are actually watching the video for and the duration. I forget the terminology for that, but they drop off after the first 15 seconds a lot of times because everyone's scrolling. What's tips for businesses to keep people on the video?
Well, before you get there, in media, radio, remember TSL?
Yep.
TSL?
Time spent listening.
Remember TSV viewing?
Yep.
In terrestrial media, there is a metric called time spent listening. You didn't get paid unless you have quarter hours, right, Craig? Wasn't it ratings based on quarter hours? So if we can keep listening for 14 minutes and 59 seconds, it didn't matter. Because that's why you didn't signal when you're going to a break. Say, hey, right after this, people will say, when we're back. Nobody ever says that on TV or radio because we never want anybody to switch off. We want to surprise them when we went to a commercial break. I wonder if they're, to Mary's point, do they make more money the longer we watch? Is that how that works? Because if that's the case, then there needs to be some standards in terms of, because all they're doing is they're gaming the system there. They're making you watch all the way through. They're getting paid for the content, but then that's their only intention was not to entertain you or educate you. The idea there was so they could get their 3 minutes of whatever, correct?
Yes, and instead of being paid now, it's with algorithm juice. So the longer that you can keep somebody watching, the more they'll serve your video up to more people. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing to answer your question, Mary, is don't bury the lead. In the first 6 seconds, you have to tell them what you're about to give them in an exciting way, or they won't stay to the end to find that way.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of times, I notice sometimes in like podcast clips, they'll show the highlighted funny part first really quickly, and then they'll go back to the beginning so that you're hooked, just like you're saying.
Exactly. So they'll tease you with you're about to see, or I'm about to give you. I think I told you guys I've been seeing all the pickleball clips, and they always say the beginning from the end. You're going to learn the number one reason you're screwing up at pickleball, or you can't hit a two-handed backhand right now, and then they give it to you.
Yeah.
Cory Perlman, social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media Inc. CoryPerlman.com, ImpactSocialMedia.com. Cory, I'm getting duped now by these screenshots. They're like at the beginning of like a YouTube video or the picture of the.
It's not the thing. The thumbnail.
The thumbnail.
The thumbnail's killing me. Oftentimes it's a voluptuous female, and then I click on the thing, and it's just. I'm like,
what? You don't need to know your private life, Mike.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Cory, do
Yeah.
something about that.
Yeah, the old sex sells, I guess, still exists in media
Allegedly.
today.
Thirst trap.
Yeah. So not good news for us, but it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, that's the game we live in. So yeah, sorry about those thumbnails.
Hey, I heard a term the other day that I haven't heard of in a long time, and maybe it's just because I'm not at the tip of the spear like you two guys are. SEO. Is SEO still a thing?
Yeah, you're like the 10th person to ask me that this week. Yes, it is still a thing. The key is knowing your top 3 or 4 phrases that you want to rank for, and then use that content in everything that you produce. So I'm a social media keynote speaker. I want to make sure that I have those words in everything I talk about on social.
See, SEO means what again?
Search engine
optimization.
Yes, Greg knows. I have a question about this too, because back in the day, I would say a few years ago, it was like on websites, they encouraged you to have a blog so that you could have blog posts that had all these keywords, the 3 ones maybe you identify for your brand. Is that still a trick of the trade?
It is, but I think it's more about social posts now. It's like I said, defining those 3 key phrases that define you, and then using those in your social content, even more so than your blog or website.
Do those show up on Google searches? Like an Instagram post would show up on a Google search? Because I don't think that used to be a thing.
Yes, they absolutely can. If you Google my name, you'll often see, tweets or Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts as opposed to websites or blog articles.
Whoa.
But YouTube videos are key for this as well. YouTube is huge for SEO.
Where is the future of things like Facebook? What's the other one? Snapchat? Is Snapchat one?
Snapchat.
Snapchat, Facebook,
Instagram.
anything other
TikTok.
than Instagram and LinkedIn. Where's the future of those social media?
So usually you ask me that question with like 6 seconds to go.
So you have
I don't
9.
know. But I will tell you that TikTok is still in that sort of crazy world right now that we don't know where it is. So just keep this in mind, Sully. It's rented land. So don't ever hold all your marbles in one basket, all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you got a website, an email list, an asset that you own as opposed to just rent.
Yeah, because that background structure is not owned by us, right? I mean, anything that's on there, and I think that's what's scary
Exactly.
for many people. You were talking about college kids before and how much money people are spending on events so they can post stuff.
Yep.
The problem is it's not there forever, is it, Mary? I mean, that's a piece of it. It could go away in a like
Right.
Mike having 16 different failures on Twitter and having to change his name now to something different. How many times have you been kicked off of Twitter now?
Only 6.
How about X? Have you been kicked off to X?
Yeah.
You've been kicked off to X also?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you lost an X one too.
Yeah. But I'm getting back on. As long as people lend me their emails to set up a new account, I'm good to go.
How many emails? Is that what it comes down to? Different email addresses?
Yeah.
So now you're the real Mike Costa, San Diego, 1978.org.
Charlatan, 100%.
Cory, what's coming up new here before I let you out of here today in social media? Anything on the horizon? Like,
What's the
What about-
what's the next? Yeah, what's the next?
I have a quick question for him because he's the professional he
Okay.
is. So you just made mention of tweets. Now that it's called X,
Are they called X's?
what are we
They're
calling
still
them?
called tweets.
Wait, no, you can't call them tweets. It's Twitter.
You've asked the same question that I've laughed about a million times. Like, what is it? Are we Xing? Are we
Right.
come on, Elon, give us some kind of verb for what we're doing on your
They're
platform.
called dojas, Greg.
They're still tweeting, right?
Most people call them tweets.
As far as I know, they're still tweeting,
Yeah.
right?
As far as I know,
I've
they're
never been
still
comfortable
tweeting.
saying I'm tweeting.
Okay, I have a question.
Me
though.
neither.
On these platforms, it says a lot of times AI. You can have AI write your posts. Is that right? I think I see it in LinkedIn and
Yeah.
Instagram now.
Yeah. Thank God I wrote a book called Authentically Social now that we can have AI write our tweets for us,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Right? Yeah. I mean, what
Yeah.
is it accurate? What have you used it and have you tried to use and what do you think about that?
I do, but always with a personalization touch to it. It's
Yes.
nice for them to start the thought process, but you absolutely have to finish it or you will look like a robot.
So how does it work? Do you post upload a photo and it scans the photo and tells you what they think you should say about it? How does it work?
You can do that, or you can tell it, you can give it direction on the type of thought that you want to create, some context to it, and then it'll put the bulk of the writing done for you.
You would help.
And we're only getting started.
Do you know what helped for me is that I stopped posting to Instacart and started posting to Instagram. I think it probably had more followers.
I was wondering why I saw your food order on Instagram.
How come nobody's following? God, I hate this Instacart app. Nobody's not getting no more followers. Thanks, Jerry.
Cory
And
Perlman,
from
social
Instacart.
media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media Inc., CoryPerlman.com, ImpactSocialMedia.com.